Hi, everyone, and welcome once again to our major web event, our bi-weekly internet breaking video extravaganza where
YouTube sensation.
where we melt servers off their racks with our views, um, where we discuss the upcoming issue of our nerd letter and the things we're going to write about and think about and scratch our heads about. Um, I am Paul Moderman, one of the Boring Enterprise nerds. With me today is the amazing Jelena Perfilieva, the other Boring Enterprise nerd. Say hi, Jelena.
Hello, everyone.
And let's just kick off with what I'm thinking of doing. So
Sweet.
I will share my stuff. Nope, don't need that. And we don't need that. Okay. So one of the things um, I wanted to write about is I found, and I didn't know this existed, I found that there is an open source low code, no code platform tool set. So when I think
Oh,
of low code frameworks, I think of stuff that's pretty intense and pretty technically advanced and all this kind of stuff. And so to find an open source low code platform was to me very interesting because I think it's like just if you look at the space of where all this stuff is blowing up, it's like all of the many of the major like enterprise product vendors are including their own low code, no code tool sets into
mm,
their products, like SAP,
yeah.
Workday, all that kind of stuff. To have a separate system where you can also just like build on top of an existing open source thing is also very interesting in terms of I want to do it, but I don't want to do it their way. I didn't want to do it my way. So it's called Tooljet. You can sign up and try things out in their sort of cloud offering, but you can also deploy their tools on premises for yourself and do whatever you want. So I'm going to try some stuff out, uh, give it a look and feel, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure there'll be bits and pieces that you know don't necessarily fit all of the enterprisey stuff that you and I kind of tend to look at.
Mm,
But I'm just like I mean, any reader of our newsletter will know that I'm into low code tools, at least from the standpoint of how they are changing or will change our industry. And so this is kind of the lens I want to look through this too. It's just that like, what's going on here? Is this good? Is it bad? Is this part of the tidal wave that's going to change things around? Very curious about this. Pardon my coughing here, everyone. Yeah, so that's one of the things I want to look at. Um, uh, Another one of the things that any reader will know that I've been all about the AI tools and stuff like that. I found a thing called Gift Nerd, which actually
oh,
uses GPT, the large language model tools, to generate gift ideas for the people in your life. So you give it like somebody's name, their age, some of their interests, and a budget, and it will go out and find things that fit that stuff. And I've only tried it a couple times, but it's actually worked pretty well as far as the suggestions that it gave me. It was very good. So, for example, just before this call today, I gave it some stuff about my daughter. My daughter is she's going to be 11, her next birthday. She loves Stranger Things. She loves She-Ra. She loves polished rocks and slime and like crafty things like that. And so I put that stuff in there and I gave it a budget and it found for me the Monopoly Stranger Things edition
oh,
that
cool.
like fits inside the budget. It matches the interests. She likes I put games in there too. Um, so it kind of found all those things. So like I am a person who I am not good at giving gifts. That is I have failed people in my life often by like not doing very well at that or just plain forgetting to
Yeah.
give people gifts, you know? I just like it's not something I pay attention to very much. And so this is something that I would love to keep in my own personal tool belt to save relationships, to keep friends and loved ones happy with me. I want to build this into my own like birthday reminder setup or whatever, right? So I can like prep and find stuff that actually people might like and that I can get for them that won't be just like, hey, here's a gift card to Best Buy or something like that, right? That just
Yeah.
doesn't say anything except I forgot until yesterday that you had a birthday, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah,
yes, sorry, I don't mind gift cards myself sometimes, because I mean, and every time personally, I try to include like gift receipt with the gifts that I may be especially
yeah,
not very sure about. I think it's just a nice thing to do because you want it to be nice for recipient. It's not about
yeah,
you, it's about recipient.
yeah.
What I like about this tool, I've just noticed if you go back, it's not gendered because Amazon had
Oh yeah.
something like that, and they would be like, "Oh, we can find you." I think they had it for the books or something, and we can find you. We can help to find you great book. Give us like the age range and whether it's a boy or a girl.
Mm,
I'm like, well, I mean, of course, there might be some tendencies, but
yeah,
not necessarily this particular boy or a girl
yeah.
like specific books, because every time you put like boy in, it's going to be trucks and dinosaurs. If it's a girl, it's going to be some, I don't know, pink dolls or some junk
Rainbows
that,
and makeup kits and
yeah,
stuff.
I'm
Yeah,
sure like I as a girl didn't like at all
yeah.
personally, and others, I'm sure there are many more just like that. So I think it's really great that it works with your interest, and it's very difficult, especially for that age bracket that you mentioned, where when they're for toddlers and kids like up to 8 or 10, there is like universe of potential awesome gifts. It's like you
Yeah,
just need to, it's only limited by your budget and imagination. But in between, like this tweens, teens,
yeah.
and everything in between, it's like I don't know. I don't know what to give to my own kid. It's as well. So yeah, he's 13. So yeah, very interesting, very neat tool.
And
Yeah, thank you, Paul.
yeah, and one of the things I love about this, of course, is, and I'm sure I've said this in one way or another, but like this tool uses the AI capabilities. It uses large language models and GPT and all that stuff. But like, unless you go read the about page, you wouldn't know that it's doing that.
Mm,
It's like the tech wizardry is subordinate to the just plain usefulness of it, right? In
yeah.
other words, I don't have to know that it does AI magic things to produce a good set of gifts. I just have to know that like I can put in some age, name kind of stuff and it will give me some good suggestions within a budget. And the AI magic is great, but I don't have to care about it. That's that's where
Mm,
AI finds its sweet spot is when it gets out of the way of the marketing verbiage and just does what it's supposed to do in that magic way. So that's I love that. I love that. I don't even know if like I don't even know they must make money by like affiliate linking their stuff. Let me see in the URL. Yeah, it looks like they have affiliate links. Yeah, okay. Anyway, so they make money from somebody somewhere by linking to stuff that you could buy. But it's just a cool idea, I thought.
yeah, but like I said, I think it's nice not to put your kind of technology up front as a marketing
Yeah.
shtick, because something with AI doesn't necessarily make it better than something
No.
without AI. All it matters is the
Mm-mm.
result. Does it give you a great result? Awesome. Then honestly, I mean, who cares if it's using AI or not? And
Yeah.
sometimes like, oh, this like new AI tool. Okay, what does it do? Is it better than
Yeah.
previous tool with non-AI? Or is it unique, or is it something? Yeah, so yeah, really great point. Thank you.
I think I have four or five this time, so I'm gonna just like usual, I have to whittle down a couple of them.
Yeah.
This one is from Enterprise Times. It's there is a Rimini Street report about out there that does a lot of
Oh
looking
boy.
at like yeah, exactly, right. So digital transformation kind of looking and seeing about this stuff. And it touches on a couple of our hot topics. Like I said, digital transformation, composable ERP, um, third party legacy kind of stuff. All these things out there that are challenges for IT departments. I don't know whether this is necessarily going to have like enough meat on the bone to talk about any of these one things, right? but there's potential out there, and maybe we'll split it up and do a couple of these things on a different issue some other time. But I am particularly into digital transformation in kind of two ways. One way is I have an ongoing interest in the bullshit or not bullshit nature of the term
Mm-hmm.
itself, right? But I also have an interest in, okay, if you dig around the term and you find out what's going on, and then you start to see whether projects that you're working on as a consultant like we are, whether they are actually digital transformation or they're just like, again, some kind of BS like
Yeah.
upgrade stuff or whatever that's not really transforming anything, right? And so whether the marketing term is BS or not, I still want to know, like, is what I'm doing connected to the thing that's going on here? And so I definitely I sink my teeth into anything that says digital transformation has this kind of survey result, whatever. Like that's what I want to keep looking into for that stuff. So,
Yeah, I
we'll
think
see.
as the idea, digital transformation is good and interesting. But to me, you know how sometimes in a movie someone gets hypnotized and they have like trigger word like Madagascar
Yeah.
and they go do some crazy stuff. To me, like digital transformation, boom, I'm like, that's it. I blank, mind
And
going
then you go
blank,
shoot
like
the
la la
president.
la,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
check out, and that's it. I'm like, I'm out of here. Yeah, it's been overused by marketing a lot, I think,
Yeah.
and it's and
It,
it's bad, really. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. Whatever, however people define it, apparently there are some differences across the world in how different nations IT departments tend to sort of approach that stuff. So we'll see. Maybe there's something interesting here.
Hmm.
The other thing I found out is there's this product I hadn't heard of from Oracle called Oracle Alloy, which looks to me like basically Oracle will sort of chop off its own tentacle and sell it to you, and then you can pretend to be a cloud provider, even though under the covers, Oracle is providing the cloud infrastructure for your thing. So it kind of is this interesting, like, hey, I am paulmoderman.com and I want to be Paul Moderman Cloud, right? And come
Hmm.
buy infrastructure and services from me. But under the covers, it's really Oracle powering all the things, including their services and stuff like that. But you can sort of pretend that it's you, right? So I'm curious to see what the use cases are for this because right now
Yeah.
I want to kind of look at it because it has this like this is this company is talking about Oracle Ally with you, but like what are they actually doing, right? Um, right now it has a little bit more of this flavor of how do you like how IBM will announce like cloud computing or not cloud computing, quantum
Hmm.
computing, and it'll be like up on a big stage, and they'll be like, we're now at quantum 2.0, and we have 132 qubit processors,
Hmm.
and we can't wait to see what our partners will do with it. The problem there is what they're basically admitting is that like, well, we don't really know
Yeah.
what you're going to do, but it could be really cool. Just imagine
Yeah.
how cool it could be. So please tell us how you're going to use this to be cool, right? Like
Yeah.
I that is what I don't know whether to smell that here or not. Um so that's kind of what I wanted to see is like what are the detailed use cases out there
Mm.
for a thing like this where, like I said, Oracle chops its own arm off and sells it to you and you can pretend it's your arm
Mm.
and then go offer services and solutions for that stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, do you remember a movie Big with Tom Hanks?
Yeah.
It's an old comedy. So there is a scene when he joins a toy company and he
Hmm.
like gets like very fast promoted to high ranks, and then they have a meeting about some toy with like some marketing, big shots and
Hmm.
like CEO of the company, and Tom Hanks is there, and he's like in the movie, he's a kid who turned into adult. So they
Hmm.
look at the toy and he's like, and while the real adults like talking about like marketing and like your revenue margin, he just takes it and like tries to play with it, and then like what does it do? Like, and it's
Yeah.
just some kind of that buildings, like robot transforms into a building something just completely stupid. It's like,
Yeah.
well, and they're like, oh, no, that's exciting. It's like Transformers, like all the rage. But she's like, but what does it do? Like, I cannot do it. That's it. Like, it does this thing and that thing. Like, I'm done. Like, I'm
Hmm.
done. So it kind of has a sense of that to me
Yeah.
as well. Like, here is a toy, but I mean, what can you do with this toy? I mean, it
Yeah.
might be neat looking toy. Yeah, very, very
Like
weird.
like if this thing tells me that it's going to digitally transform my quantum computing, I'm out.
Yeah,
Like, you know,
yeah,
screw you guys, right?
yeah.
So I want to find out if this turns into a building or it
Mm-hmm.
turns into like a ninja bug or whatever. That's something
Yeah,
cool like that. So
yeah.
yeah, that's what I want to do. So that's my stuff. That's my curiosity. This biweekly
Sweet.
session.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul.
Mhm.
All right, my turn to share. All right. So coincidentally, my first story is also kind of sourced from IBM website, but not because it's related directly to IBM. I just found their article to be the best on this subject. So my
Mhm.
subject is hyperautomation.
Mhm.
I'm also going after the angle, is this really hype about hyper, or like what's the deal with it and how is it different from regular automation?
Yeah,
So, and what I liked about this article, it's like, let me see where it tells this. So I think, all right, hold on a second. Benefits, blah, blah, blah. All right,
dude,
automation
but
versus hyper automation. And it
like
says
go
right here that difference between them is often
yeah.
unclear. And I'm like, well, thank you at least for that, because it's really, I don't really get like what's the difference is, whether is it marketing invented word? I don't know. And I think automation is good. Whether hyperautomation is better or is it even different, that probably remains to be understood by non-marketing people. But I think this article in general, it touches some points about an automation as such, not necessarily in hyperspace. And I'm totally reserving the rights for like ludicrous speed-based meme
Yeah,
for this
this
article.
is
So there's
this
it's
has
like
that like smell of like 8-minute abs. We can do 7-minute abs,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
but it's
Yeah.
actually scroll up a little bit. There was
Mhm.
a sentence that I saw uh maybe getting started with hyperautomation, that section. Benefits and challenges. There was okay, yeah. So the first paragraph of this
So
section right
big.
here, like I think the first thing you should hyper automate is trimming this sentence down to having some meaning without going above and beyond too many words,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
this sentence, this paragraph boils down to hyperautomation does things repetitively.
Hmm.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
That's what they're saying here. And so like use your tool to hyper automate some like word cleansing here because this is like this has a flavor of it's written by GPT, right? It's
Yeah,
got this like there's too many words here to explain what's going on. Anyway,
yeah.
that was my
I think there is a sense that if you add more words, it somehow sounds more important, but it doesn't
yeah,
sound more important, it just sounds more boring. That's all it
yeah,
does. And yeah, that's really, I think, would be perfect use for all the AI tools to reduce this verbosity like across the board. And marketing is huge offender in this area.
yeah.
It's really just unbelievable. I think, yeah, actually I might try to take this article and just run it through one of those AI shortening tools that we have written
Yeah,
about before. So it could be interesting case.
that would be.
Automating hyper automation articles. Sweet. All right, so my second subject, it will be probably continuation of the story that I have started in the previous issue, and it was about the original one was asking like what are people are even doing with their SAP systems, and as one of the points there I made was about upskilling and learning for SAP functional consultant. So
Mhm.
just for giggles, I ran this poll. I ran it on both Twitter and LinkedIn. And got some interesting responses here. There are more some answers in the comments, but it was funny that this way that we need to do that answer was very popular on Twitter. There was less percentage on LinkedIn. It might be just a playful nature of Twitter versus LinkedIn being more serious, but I found that it's interesting that it actually got pretty significant. It's actually largest percentage here at this time. It's still going to be running for a few more days. So if anyone wants to join, please feel free to find this on my profile. Yep.
Wait, by the time we publish this video, will it still be live?
No, it will close by then. Yeah, it's just 3 days. Okay. On LinkedIn, it might still be going because LinkedIn, it's minimum like 1 week. You cannot really.
So if you're watching this video, go back in time and answer Jelena's question on Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, I always forget it's not real time. and also related to that, and I don't know like you if I will I need also, I have the same issue with verbosity sometimes, and I need some tools to make, keep my stories short and stay on point. So I have been looking into this What's New viewer tool. I might include it in the overall, functional upscaling stories, but it might as well turn into a trilogy and will kind of flow over to the next issue. So I don't know at this point. So which are reader newsletter and which the space. My third item is will be it's kind of a I don't know, it's an opinion piece about programming principles and not really how they apply just to programming, but how they apply to different maybe areas of life. I haven't written, I felt, one of those like totally maybe even not directly technology related pieces in a while. And I think people usually try to do this kind of wisdom sharing either when they're very young, when they just started their adulthood and they think that they know everything. They kind of, oh yeah, and they just go around like, oh, let me give you my wisdom. Of course, they don't know anything at this point, but they don't know. Then another stage goes as you get older, and I think I'm probably getting there, where I will start like, kids, gather around, kids, gather around. I will tell you from the top of my life experience stuff that you need to do. And I just literally Google programming principles because it's there are very, very many posts about them. There are Wikipedia articles, but I think this gives you a nice like overview of what they are in general. I'm not going to go about these 10 commandments, obviously, and I have some of my own. This dry, dear whites, do not repeat yourself. This is one of my favorite principles, and it also applies not just to programming, but to many things in real life. Like writing is one of those. For example, if you write about something, you don't need to provide definition. You can provide link to a Wikipedia article, for example, or you can refer to someone else's article or blog post or video or whatever. So just kind of incorporate by reference other content versus just repeating it and doing like by value. So I'm going to use some of this, and I'm just going to also throw a few of my own observations and just do this, gather around kids story around the digital fireplace, hopefully for the maybe young generation, maybe to learn something, or not necessarily young. I mean, everyone can learn. And some things I feel like, even though they seem like repetitive and mundane, but some things you just need to be reminded of, I think, periodically. So I'm just cashing my chip of being wise, old person, and doing this piece. So these are my 3 also potentially 4 subjects for this issue.
Nice. That's good. I actually remembered as you were talking, that I might have another one. I've been noodling over something. And I think maybe there's just a tweet here. I don't know. But I was this past week I was elsewhere. I was in Houston, Texas with some customers doing some stuff. And this was like a between session moment of just chatting with somebody. And I have this pithy little saying that I like to say about stories and writing. And it was one of those things where like I think I'm really smart by saying it, you know what I mean? Um, and I was telling this person about it because she's like super smart, super sharp, super like go get them. She's got all these great um all this great knowledge, wisdom, talent of her own that she brings. She's just a ball of energy and awesome, right? And so we're talking about this stuff, and I'm like, you know, I often like to think that stories are the fundamental unit of human, and the way I always formulate the phrase is the fundamental unit of human knowledge. But
Mhm.
before I said knowledge, she said connection.
Mm.
And I was like, oh, damn it. The first time I say this to this person, she comes up with a better word for what I'm
Mm.
trying to say. And so the reason it gets me my gears sort of turning is that like but there's a meta aspect to it here, right? In the
Mm.
sense that I mean, you and I write stories every week, right? They may take the shape of like news stories, but they're kind of stories too. There's like people doing things and
Mm.
all this kind of stuff. But also it was in the middle of like a design-ish kind of session where people, like real people, are telling the stories of their work life, right?
Mm.
And at the end of the day, it does kind of boil down to how they connect as humans between themselves doing their job and the person who does the next step in their job, right?
Mm.
Um, and I only mention it because I may wind up writing about it, but I don't have a solid story yet in my head about it, but it has stuck with me since yesterday in the room talking with her. So
Mm.
I don't want anyone to feel surprised if I write about this and I didn't mention it in the
Instead,
video, right?
story
So
about
that's all.
story.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah,
total meta.
yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's all. So I unless and I'm the MC of this one, by the way. So yeah.
Damn it, Paul, damn it.
What am I doing? So Yelena, unless you have anything else to add, we can cut
Yep,
off this and
I
and
am.
get this through.
I'm
Okay.
done. Yeah,
All
sweet.
right, internet. Here's the story of our stories. Enjoy, have fun. Don't break YouTube when you go watch it, but tell your friends. Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.